When rebranding fails, Kai Cenat.
Some say rebranding as a content creator, artist, or creative anything is a make or break in a lot of people's careers. You can have good creator rebrands, like Speed going from a kid yelling slurs in his mom's basement at 3 a.m. and doing voodoo rituals or whatever you call this. Genuinely, we gotta ask.
Wow, Speed's fucking, like, content arc is crazy, because now he does, like, very, like, cultural, like, showcasings of, like, the world. And he used to, like, light off fireworks in his bedroom.
What the f was wrong with Speed in 2021? To now becoming one of the biggest live streamers in the world and breaking generations of propaganda from the media. But then you also have creators on the opposite side of rebranding, like Sneeko. Turning from a person who used to be labeled one of the most creative YouTubers on this platform for his unique style of videos, to now having to hang out with the sinister six of streaming and appealing to racists because that's how much his audiences got diluted. Either have a sand machine grounding your ball sack for 5 minutes, or have your sister in a room with these guys for 5 minutes.
Well, I think the appeal of the content change for the hard right audience is a similar content change that comedians make to religious comedy and Christian comedy. It lowers your audience threshold, but it increases the dedicated audience that you have. Does that make sense? So I don't even know if a lot of, like, hard right-wing creators believe what they say, but it basically guarantees the fact that you're going to have an audience, even if it is smaller. It guarantees that you have that audience. It's the same thing with Christian comedy. Like, if you're a comedian and then you pivot to Christian comedy, like, you lose a wider audience, but you gain a more dedicated, smaller fan base. And so that's like the path that a lot of them go. And they're a lot more hardcore fans, right? It's a very weird pivot that a lot of people make, but I mean, you see people make it pretty quickly. Pretty often, if that makes sense. I used to be far right wing, thank God I'm not anymore. I mean, I'm not judging, like, political viewpoints, but I just think, like, I am. It's like, well, I mean, it's not. It's a mixture. It's not. I have nothing wrong with conservative content creators, but the purpose of making hard right content is to appeal to a smaller net fan base that just fucks with you. That's what it is, right? Like, I think when you make, like, if you just make content and you have liberal views, you're not making liberal content all the time. Like, I have liberal views. I don't air them out every day. But if you are a hard right content creator, a lot of the content that you have to make revolves around that. There's the same that could be said around left-wing creators, right? Like, Hassan is a very left-wing creator. Hassan's content is all politically motivated. But I think, like, if you're in that, like, kick rumble space, there's, like, 90% of your content has to be around politics.
Personally, I'm sorry for my offspring, but y'all can no longer be born. Sometimes these rebrands come...
There are, like, exceptions to that, but I'm saying a lot of it is, like, BP right-wing, like, it's their job to appeal to that audience.
Naturally, though, and I think those are always the best types. Just like how I mentioned Speed earlier, most of his rebranding came...
Do you still like your chatters aren't liberals? I don't have a problem with conservatism. I have a problem with when people just refuse to, like, with the current ICE shit, when people are like, well, that lady shouldn't have tried to drive away. I'm like, dude, he shot her in the chest, like, fucking 3 times. I'm like, he killed her, right? Like, now it's just, like, just being an ass to be an ass, right? There's, like, a difference between having, like, financially, fiscally conservative views or, like, some socially conservative views or religious views to, like, literally just not giving a fuck about the fact that, like, somebody got murdered. Right.
From him maturing from being a
like, there's a difference there.
Teenager that grew up on the internet and watching edgy creators, then actually went out in the real world and saw real people. There's a reason why the most edgiest creators on...
And I know that'll piss people off, but, like, I gotta say, I don't know why people immediately get agitated when the creator they watch doesn't have the same views as them. Like, it's very narrow-minded to assume that the creator that you watch is just going to agree with what you think. Right? Because you like their content. Like, that's just not going to be the case, right? One way or the other, right? There's going to be people that are liberal that watch conservative content creators that get annoyed when they have those views, right? For me, I'm liberal. People get annoyed when they find out I'm not conservative. It's usually assumptive that I'm conservative because I'm a straight white man, and so they look at me and they just assume I'm like a Chad of sorts. But It's like, I don't know. Holy PR? It's not PR, man. It's not PR. So many people say that, man. So many people are like, Joe's liberal for PR. Brother, I went to college for philosophy. I'm very attuned to atheism. I'm basically on the cusp of absurdist nihilism. I don't believe in God, right? If you just took my viewpoints, that would religion. It's like I feel like it's not PR, man. Like I think there's nothing after death, man. I think that's like it's just obvious that I would probably be somewhat socially left leaning, you know? Like even without like PR in the picture, it's just like atheism. Atheist, probably not conservative. Like most of the, I mean, that's like, it's a true thing where if you take somebody's sex, income, religious perspective, how often they go to church or their synagogue or whatever place of worship is, like you can factor in what they'll probably be, right? Politically. Like I'm not liberal for PR. I'm not actually liberal. I'm a social democrat, right? Is how I would perceive my own views. Nobody knows what that means though. So I just say I'm a liberal, but it's like a little different. It depends on the topic though, right? I could have a take that's more middle grounded, but like the majority of the time, I would say I fall into a more liberal way of thinking. Like I don't believe in God. I'm not religious. I have no problem with gay marriage. I support the LGBTQ, right? So all of these things kind of coincide with like my base philosophical beliefs. So it's not something for PR. It's just that's what I think. And that upsets people. Abortion, I support abortion. Oh God, that really upsets people. Yep, I know. Also not PR. That's just, I don't see a problem with abortion. Third trimester is a different conversation, right? Where you're about to have the kid. But to say that, you know, and I'm not saying this to just get dubs. Like you could say L. Joe. I don't give a fuck, right? You could disagree with me. But like, I'm not being liberal for PR. There's an equal, and to say I'm being liberal for PR is like, dude, the majority, not majority, you know how many men in the younger Gen Z era are conservative? The majority of my audience is men. So many people that watch me are conservative. It's equally appealing for me to be either for PR, right? I could pivot either way. Like, it's not a PR stance.
Platform, most of their
Can we move on from that?
audience is teenagers because that's when you're the most on the internet, that grew up on the internet and watching edgy creators that actually went out in the real world and saw real people. There's a reason why the most edgiest creators on any platform, most of their audience is teenagers because that's when you're the most on the internet and
Joe ... is very obvious the majority of your audience is liberal. Yeah, because a lot of people stopped watching me when I shared political views. That's you know the amount of people that unfollowed me like way back when I said that I supported Palestine. Like, I mean, now I think both sides really are against Israel, but like early, like years ago, right? Not years ago, like a year ago, year and a half ago, when I said that I supported Palestine, the amount of people that were like, I fucking hate you. Okay, don't watch me. It's not a PR thing, dude. I've gotten fucking death threats for my views. On either side, that's going to happen.
Just like how I mentioned Speed earlier, most of his rebranding came from him maturing from being a teenager that grew up on the internet and watching edgy creators that actually went out in the real world.
I literally think that's the arc that I had. Like, people will be like, you're so much more political now. I'm like, no, I just have a philosophy channel and a lot of philosophy takes somewhat intertwined with politics. I started content when I was a teenager. I'm now 23. I've gotten older. I think my content slightly matured.
World and saw real people. There's a reason why the most edgiest creators on any platform, most of their audience is teenagers because that's when you're the most on the internet and have the least life experience. There's also rebrands that are straight up a hard launch and the person is saying this is exactly how they're going to be moving like, which is usually more dangerous because you're telling the entire audience you built up that you're no longer that person they watched. And the newest rebrand we have from a big creator is none other than Kai Cenat. I don't think we've had a hard launch rebrand from somebody as big as Kai Cenat in a while.
I'm gonna have the take that I think he approached this goal of making clothing very poorly. And I think he took the break from streaming for his mental health, which was needed, and I have nothing wrong with that. But I think going from streaming all the time to disappearing for 4 months to saying you're just gonna quit streaming and start a clothing brand, it's like, well, now how are you gonna promote it? Your entire audience watched you for your personality, and now you want to start a clothing brand, but your means of promotion for that clothing brand no longer exist because you're not streaming anymore. It's like, I think the best way that he could have done it was stream less, still stream, start the brand, and then slowly go from like streaming to clothing and then just done, right? Versus just being done and then launching the clothing brand. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to promo it?
Not too long ago was he yelling yacht at women getting up on his stream.
Saying so.
I'm sorry. Let me lock him out real quick. Hold on.
You know what? All right, bet. Go ahead.
The thought of an historian in the year 2900 going back to this time and studying these type of clips always crosses my mind. And now Kai's brand new look is him launching a fashion brand and trying to become a designer himself, while also self-helping himself by trying to fix his reading struggles and working out. Off the word,
I don't have a problem with the reading videos either. It's like a self-accountability of like posting those videos to ensure that you read more. But I think being able to read and then comprehend reading is two different things. When you read out loud, I mean, maybe this is a person-to-person thing, but I'm just going to have this take. I think if you read out loud, you're not actually absorbing what the fuck you're reading most of the time. Like, if you're focusing on the pronunciation of the words, you're not actually focusing on the meaning of the word itself. Like, all the videos that he posts are him reading for 30 minutes, and he's not actually reading. Like, he's reading, but it's reading for pronunciation, not reading for understanding. And those are two different things. You could read for understanding, but if you're focused on pronunciation, you're not focused on the purpose or what you're actually absorbing.
Working out. Off the wording itself, it doesn't sound...
It's the reverse for me. I think it does vary, but I think if you're like trying to read and you're focusing on the pronunciation of that word, you're not actually focusing on what that word means. He does look up what those words mean, but it's like, if I'm reading 5 pages, I'm going to absorb it a lot better in silence than out loud. I think it depends on the person, but I think largely, like, I kind of have that take from the idea of popcorn reading. Like, when you were a kid and you had popcorn reading and your name got called, whatever paragraph you just read, you were not focused on what the fuck that shit meant. You were focused on not stuttering and pronouncing the words in a meaningful way. Right, or not a meaningful way, the right way.
Bad at all. There's been 2 reactions to this. One
Leon for the sub.
being people who just hate to hate and basically hate on any.
You rebranded? I think I had a rebrand from the loud beanie guy to me, but that took a while. I don't think that rebrand took place until 2022. I think around 2022, like the summer of 2022, I started actually making content that was me. I think prior to, it was like just like LARPing as some fucking angry beanie guy. And I do get angry, but I think like I don't like any of the content that I created, like even honestly like 2022 and prior. I think 2023 I was like, okay, now I just like make the content I want to make.
Anything Kai does. If Kai does something like save a cat from a tree, they're in the comments saying some like he's worse than Hitler. Then there's a other group of people who genuinely just find his rebrand corny and don't like it. And if you see my videos, I've defended Kai from random who just hate to hate on the internet or try to find a random problem. But I've also been critical of Kai, and this rebrand was
executed terribly.
This all started back when he ended a subathon at the end of September in 2025. He hit 1 million subs, had 1 million viewers at the end. He had...
The Mafiathon really did feel like a very heavily branded event, though. Like, it was so focused around the gaining of subs rather than the content itself, is how I felt. Not to say that there weren't good bits, but it was like, we want to hit 1 million subs, so we're going to do everything to hit 1 million subs. And everything was like monetizable, where there were like certain days where subs were matched and they were like subs off, and we're going to have like power hours and stuff.
Every celebrity in the book on it. LeBron James shaved his head on stream. We could have just left the last part. All we needed to see was the king on stream. And after his stream ended, he decided to take a long hiatus to spend it with his girlfriend vacationing around the world, seeing different places. Kind of awkward knowing that now, considering they just went through a pretty public breakup and she's dissing all of his friends and people around him. On this vacation, he was...
Didn't she cheat on him or something? Yeah, like, I feel for him in that sense of, like, I get his break. I get his mental health break. But it's, like, it's hard to pivot from an entertainer. I was saying this the other day to my friends. I think Kai was one of the most successful entertainer on Twitch. But I think going from being a forefront entertainer riff guy to a creator is two different things. Like, I'm not a creator. I know everybody is like, oh, you're a content creator, and that's the terminology used. I'm not a creator. Creators are like Ted Nivison or fucking Casey Neistat or like the guy, like, bro, even like Tommy NFG is like a creator. Like people that make shit, I riff, right? Most streamers riff. And Jack Pembroke, creator. It's hard to go from that to like something where you're behind the scenes making this shit hands-on. Like they're two different realms, man. Like streaming is such a different ball game from content creation. And content creation, it is content creation, but not in the way that I'm trying to describe it. Streaming is so different from raw content creation, and that's even so different from like directing behind the scenes work, right? Like I'm good at on the spot stuff. I'm not good at like planned out shit. I'm good at scheduling. That's even different.
I was probably trying to think of how he would even come back and be able to top what he just did. Like if I was in Kai's position, I'm gonna be honest, I wouldn't know what the to do. I broke a record that probably won't be beaten or like
Retire. That's like if he wants to keep. So I think he wants to make that fucking clothing, right? And it's like that's a passion of his. Go for it, right? But if it's like if we're pivoting to like I want this to be like a successful brand, then he has to kind of also like stream on that side. Like, I mean, bro, like, Kai's probably worth $100 million plus. Like, he could just retire now.
Time it had
It's like whatever you want to do.
LeBron James on at the same time. I gotta end off everything with that. Which is why he announced in a video on January 13th that he's officially quitting streaming. And it turns out that was actually clickbait, shocker. The whole video was an
Oh, he's not done?
announcement for his fashion brand and showing his journey on making his clothing brand. While also announcing he's been secretly posting videos on another channel that will document his journey. This was probably the worst thing he did in his rebrand and is the thing people are making fun of the most. In the reading videos, one weird thing he does is flex the phone timer after his reading time is supposed to end to show people that he's become a reading god above the average human brain input and output.
Location, creating, and implementation intention is a strategy you can use. You can use pair a new habit with a specific time and location. The implementation intention formula is I will behavior and time and location. Habit stacking is a
You see what I mean, though? The way he's reading the words is about pronunciation rather than, like, understanding. And if that's the goal, I don't know, man. That's just, like the way that, like, the sentences is not being read in the flow of a sentence. It's being read in, like, a way of pronunciation.
time and location. Habit stacking is a strategy you can use. Ability of ending the emotional pain, which can open the door for you. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been 30 minutes.
Implementation intention is a strategy that you can use. If you already want a 40v1.
Like, alright, man, we get it. You now have reached the same reading comprehension as Shakespeare. If he didn't put this timer bit into the reading videos, it wouldn't have received even close to the amount of hate it's getting. In the comments of all the vids, people are basically clowning him, saying he's trying too hard to be performative with it, and also are saying he's reading but not actually comprehending what it's.
That's just the take I have. I have no problem with him posting these videos. I think, like, having a fitness journey or a reading journey or whatever it is for, like, you know, making yourself want to motivate, like self-accountability, like that's good.
Saying something that could have made it better is if he showed some notes that he was writing down while reading the book.
Yeah, like trying to like understand, like when I have such a lack of motivation for reading, and I really want to read more for philosophy because I love philosophy. I love my philosophy channel. I love making those videos, but it's like when I read, I dead ass take notes on a Google Doc. Like, when I made that Marcus Aurelius video about meditations, that shit took me like 6 months to get through that book. But I would take notes when I would read it.
To show that he was actually retaining the information and keeping what the book's actually saying in his head. Unironic.
And even then, it's like, you gotta take notes and go back to them because, like, you could read something, understand it, and then forget about it. You know? Like, you could be like, oh, I get that. And then the next day, I could be like, what'd you read about? And the average human's gonna be like, I probably couldn't tell you.
Middle school teachers got one up on that. They was right on that because you do not retain shit after reading a book for the first time. But that time,
hell no, dude. You could read a chapter and then 6 hours later forget every single fucking sentence you read.
Everything was gonna cook him either way. He's got to put that one in the closet. Overall, it is good he's actually taking initiative to improve himself though. And there's clips too where he doesn't understand a word, so he searches up what it means on camera. Where people are clowning him for not knowing a word's meaning, which I find
yeah, which is that's fucking weird. I think he gets hate because he's so big and like anybody in that space that's large and trying to do something that's new, people are gonna fucking shit on you for. But yeah, like he looked up like spontaneity and people flamed him for it. I'm like, bro, who cares?
So weird. People will always say try to
Like, that demotivates motherfuckers to want to learn how to read and want to learn what words mean because you get flamed if you don't know what something is. Like, it's very commendable to admit that you don't understand something. It's very commendable to admit that you don't get something because so many people get ingrained in their beliefs and they refuse to admit when they're wrong. And, like, everybody does this. I do this, right? Where if, like, somebody proves you wrong, you don't even actually go, like, you never concede that loss because that's showing, like, weakness. So instead, people double down and get more fucking locked in and drilled into their fucking beliefs, even though they actually were just proven that they're wrong. That's why one of the best ways to change somebody's mind is to get them to arrive at your opinion by questioning them to get them to arrive at your opinion themselves. Like, if I want you to believe that UBI makes sense, I don't want to explain to you why UBI makes sense. I'm going to question you with 30, 40 different series of questions to where eventually you arrive at the idea that you think universal base income is a good idea. And you're going to say it, and then I'll go, that's a good point. And then you're going to go, I know, thank you. And in reality, I was the guy that made you fucking think of that, right? Because I asked you the million questions to do that, but you're the one that said it. So because you said it, now you believe it, right? But if you tell a motherfucker, no, you're wrong, this is why you're wrong, and here's what's right, they'll never believe that. And it's the same thing with me. People do that to me. I'll be like, fuck you. No, I'm right, right? Like, that's how you change somebody's mind. Is by getting like motivational interviewing, like questioning them to arrive at your opinion.
prove yourself by reading books or going to the gym or learning whatever habit. And when you showcase yourself trying to improve yourself, they just clown you.
But it's so easy to just dunk on a motherfucker, you know? It makes you feel better to dunk on a motherfucker and be like, no, you're stupid. Here's why. Even though you know, everybody knows that's not going to change their mind, right? Because you're going to try and humiliate them and then they're going to fucking feel like shit about themselves. They're going to be like, fuck you. And then now you're more distanced from each other.
2026 and can't even be curious
You do that? I know I do that. It's bad I do that.
about something without getting the sped allegations. Meanwhile, those same people are
Because I love the idea of being like, no, you're a dumbass. Here's why. People do it to me too.
fat chuds on the internet that do nothing but comment on people's all day. And we kind of do need more people reading, at least in America, because the amount of people's reading comprehension has gone down is atrocious. I know this as a creator because I'll say something, a person won't even finish the video or just pause on that part, then go in the comment section writing a whole paragraph explaining why they hate me and how my take is wrong. Half the population reads at a 6th grade level here. We gotta start doing reading clubs again. I'm glad to be in the group of Gen Z kids that got out school right when AI was about to hit. Because if I was in school right now, I'll let y'all know, I would be a couple of octaves dumber than I already am. Then there's the fashion pivot. On that same channel, he's posting videos of him learning how to make clothes for his fashion brand, which doesn't have as much hate as the reading, but it's more of the way he presents it, I would say. His fashion brand is called Vivette, and one way he's advertising it is with his own journal. The journal having designs and sketches of what he wants in it. And the way he's talking about this journal and flexing it, you would think he's writing some new verses for the Bible. Even on the Vivette website, the only way you can see the journal is if you sign up and join the waitlist. So it's clear the journal is the main marketing tactic he has for his whole fashion brand, which isn't an uncommon thing. Every fashion designer has their own type of documentation of the process of making a product. Kanye is somebody who did this a lot and showed off his sketches. It's confusing on Kai's
why did it just get silent?
vision for it, because in different videos he's saying so many things about what it's supposed to be, and he's changing the camera quality on the videos to make it look more like a documentary, which is now being called the performative quality. The funniest one has gotta be
Your boy for the sub.
him recording himself writing in his journal on a 3DS, which got deleted.
Why is he recording off his 3DS?
I don't know how to describe it. It's like a track, right? And then everybody's on it. And then when you achieve a lot or you do good, you start to succeed. You start to exceed it. Like you start to keep going at a crazy. The way like I'm a little dark and shit. Like shit dark for me. But as soon as I hold this journal up, it's a lot like more focused on it.
That That journal better have the cure to cancer the way he's showing it. Crazy thing is, even if the journal does have good designs and people want to buy it, the videos have cooked anything associated to it. People will just look back at the videos and start dying laughing. There was absolutely zero need to record this video on a 3DS. I feel like even he looked back at this and said, all right, I'm doing too much. While people were memeing the whole thing, it also opened the floodgates of old clips showing Kai trying to fit in with certain things where you can't put it any other way. He's just saying some shit to be performative for the camera.
Yo, if you could describe your outfit with a song, what would it be? Viva La Vida. Viva La Vida by Cosplay. These is kind of busted up, but headphones. That's all I need.
Like, bro just had that shit in the dome. What would you describe your outfit as? Bro, I'd be like, I don't know what fucking song my outfit is.
By Cosplay. These is kind of busted up, but headphones. That's all I need. Not use those. You do not use those.
Yeah, bro does not use corded earbuds in the Big 26.
Why you capping this? He does not use those.
No. Yeah, he do. Look. These are the 16, 15 iPhones.
Thank you. These don't work. No, it just broke today. How it broke?
Kai, you can use AirPods. We know you're rich, dog. And before people get on my ass for wearing these wired headphones, look back the past 4 years. I've been wearing these in every single video the past 4 years, all right? I'm not faking.
Yeah, bro, you need the fucking wireless one. Well, I still use these because these are good with a mic for TikTok. They probably got my ear goop in them. Yep, you got my ear goop. That's how you know I use them. When your earwax gets all stuck in those motherfuckers.
I'm not sure why he does it or if he tries to do it subtly so people don't notice much. But in 2026, with all the forms of social media we got, people are gonna be able to tell when you're faking it. I do believe, though, that even with all these performative shenanigans, he actually got into fashion and likes it. You can tell his fashion game.
No, I bet he does like fashion. I bet he does want to make good clothing. But it's just like, I don't know. Like, do you think that, like, management or PR or somebody was telling him he has to like do these videos, or he was like, I want to promote it this way? I don't know, because I think he wants it to have its own meaning outside of just him, because it's not like merch. Like, he wants to transcend it from Kai merch, because like it would guaranteed, that's how I'm perceiving it, it would guaranteed be successful if he just dropped clothes and was like, yo, my brand, I'm gonna call it Vivette, it's Kai merch, buy it. But, like, he wants it to be its own standalone thing.
It's changed a lot in the past couple of years. And I'm sure people will say that this whole thing is fake or a grift because it happened so soon. That can happen to anyone with anything, though. Sometimes you get into something and like it so much a lot in a short period of time. You want to start trying it yourself or going out into that industry. The way he's advertising it, though, is way too performative. There's clips of him walking around with the journal in Paris Fashion Week. And it looked like he was protecting an ancient scripture that had burned down what vaporized half of humanity's information.
Yeah, like, what the fuck am I watching right now? Like, I have no idea what to, like, why are there so many pictures being taken? What is this? Where, like, this is at a fashion week, but he's just, like, flipping through the journal. Why?
Wow.
Before I saw these clips, honestly, I didn't understand why people were saying the rebrand is performative. And as soon as I saw these clips, I understood why. Whoever told him on his team that this will look tough gotta be fired. Other fashion designers there were probably looking confused as hell. This isn't to say that Kai's clothing brand is gonna come out and look trash or ugly, but it's more of the marketing tactic and how it was done. In fact, I think a lot of the people hating saying the clothes are gonna look ass would start wearing it if all of a sudden people actually like it and start wearing it out. One thing Kai's gonna mainly struggle within the fashion industry is trying to have this new persona while his old clips still being mega viral and out there, which is why I said at the
yeah, like, he hard pivoted from like this extremely extroverted loud guy to like a quiet genius that makes fashion, you know, like it's a very big pivot.
It's better when a transformation naturally happens on its own and isn't a hard pivot, because not only is he gonna get low broed by the fashion elites there and they'll just see him as the streamer guy, also it's the clips and what type of streamer he was, doing a bunch of goofy stuff for stream. It's way easier for you to be a small content creator and have collabs with bigger content creators, because content creators are usually more genuine, which can lead to you blowing up and having your own career. The fashion industry is just like the music industry, it's cutthroat. They'll tell you if your shit is ass, or a company will deny making the clothes because they don't think it will sell well. And people memeing this whole thing is definitely not helping potential fashion collaborators take it more serious. The whole jump into it was very fast though. It was only 3.5 months he was gone before doing this whole change. I feel like minimum you need a year for something like this. I guess for now we're gonna have to wait and see how it goes.
And was he mentioning it before? Like before the Mafiathon 3, was he like, did he, I don't know. Like, did he say, I'm gonna make a clothing brand?
I don't know.
Or was it like out of nowhere?
If he's gonna completely quit streaming, but if I was his friend giving advice, I say hell no. No matter what is like,
He had to have mentioned it once.
content creator, unless you're gonna retire after like 10 or 15 years, you gotta serve the people that built you up to what you are. Or maybe that's only me. So y'all will have me for another painstaking 10 years at minimum. Enjoy. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram.
Love Tommy, bruh. Rebrand that cut when Tommy rebranded into having no afro. Tommy's cut always get inflamed. Speed in the beginning, it was nothing but a minstrel show. So happy he rebranded instead of role-playing as an ape. My God. Speed's rebrand was crazy. Witness in real time, bro. Went from tweaking his mom's base and becoming mayor of Peru for 1 hour. He got a lot more serious. And I think that was just his personality changing, though. I mean, dude, Speed blew up as a fucking high schooler. And then now he's like, what, like 22 or some shit? 21, something? How old is Speed? Yeah, 21. Kai's a good example of somebody getting famous and rich but not really doing anything, and then he thinks he can become anything because of it. Kind of like when YouTubers would try to become musicians. I wouldn't even say YouTubers becoming musicians. I would say TikTokers becoming musicians. But I don't think he got rich and famous by not really doing anything. I think he was a really good streamer for the space that he had. But like, or has. But it's just such a pivot, man. Like, I make merch. But going merch and a clothing brand are two different fucking things, man. Like, getting into clothes and fashion is just an entirely different space. It's picking up another career. Yes, they're both in the social space because you have to promote them by marketing. But, like, that'd be like dead ass me running a social media business, which is basically what I do, and then being like, all right, I'm gonna open a restaurant. I don't know the first thing about managing workers or having a meal or quality assurance of food or the marketing of food. It's like the best advice I got, which is a little dampening, right? But the best advice I got was from my accountant. He said, I was like, I don't know what I want to do, like when I'm done social media. He's like, stick with what you know, man. Stick with what you know. You could stay in the marketing space, do behind the scenes shit, right? I could get into management of my own with ad companies and agencies or like, managing creators. But like, if you step out of that space, you're basically repaving your way, right? Like if you dip from, like if I know how to stream and I know the marketing space and I understand all of that stuff, and then I step out of that and I'm like, I want to open a bar. Just because you got the money don't mean you're going to have the success, right? Just because you've had success somewhere else doesn't mean you're going to achieve that same success elsewhere. It means you have and have proven the ability to succeed, but that doesn't mean that that next mission is going to be what's going to be for you, right? Obviously, you're going to have a better start, but I don't know. It's like, that's why I've always said, when I'm done, bro, like I would love to retire from like social media in that sense. I would do behind the scenes shit. I would love to even just like work at a fucking animal shelter or do some shit where it's like, you're not restarting a business, bro, because growing a business and growing a brand is so painstakingly long and annoying to do, right? Like it's not just as simple as going, oh yeah, all right, well, I was successful here. Well, I could just probably throw money at this and it'll work. It's hard to do.